Hey, my Liptons. So I wanted to do a quick video. Well, not quick. I did wanted to talk about this particular topic because it's been on my mind. A lot of things have been on my mind lately, but I just want to get them all out because y'all know I love to talk. So I want to talk about Jaya Bachchan, and y'all know I already did a video about Abhishek Bachchan and his career, but and I know I briefly talked about Jaya Bachchan in that video. If you guys don't know, go watch the video. It's on my channel. It's about Abhishek Bachchan and why he's not a big star like his father and his wife. So, and then the topic came about Jaya Bachchan. And I was just like, Jaya Bachchan gets a little bit too much hate, blah, 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 blah. So I was just like, you know what? Let me discuss her. Let me just make her own solo individual video about Jaya. And let me just get into some things about her. So, listen. Now, as far as when it comes to this video, I'm mostly going to be talking about Jaya Bachchan when it comes to the actress part of it. Her as an actress, her what she's done in the industry, that sort of thing, compared to her as a politician, because I don't know too much information about her being a politician and that sort of thing. But I just want to talk about her as an actress and her cultural beliefs and that sort of thing. So, Jaya, obviously, as you can see here, Jaya is married to Amitabh Bachchan. I think they've been married for 50 years, if I'm not mistaken. Long time, very long time. But this marriage is obviously not without its ups and downs, as all marriages are. Sometimes you go through ups and downs, but it depends on the situations. So, I was saying, as far as Jaya, outside of the politician stuff, she gets too much hate because it's in the media and people, they say that, oh my god, she's so mean, and sometimes she's rude, she's snippy, she's people tend to think that she's a miserable person. And even me, at first, I thought that Jaya was a miserable person, especially now as she got older. But I think that just doing my research and watching interviews with Amitabh and Jaya and watching other interviews, and I'm gonna get to that as well, and seeing the dynamic between Jaya and Amitabh, and just hearing Jaya's upbringing, hearing certain things Amitabh allegedly has done in the marriage, I can definitely understand why Jaya is the way that she is now, and why she sometimes holds some bitterness, and she tends to take it out on, whether it be on paparazzi or blah 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 blah. It is that sort of thing, right? So I actually want to start with as far as when it comes to Amitabh and Jaya Bachchan. So they got married. Here's the thing. And this is when she was young and Amitabh was young and that sort of thing. But initially, when Jaya was when she was going to get married to Amitabh, she admitted it on a podcast, I believe, with her daughter Shweta and her granddaughter, that, listen, my father did not want me to get married right away. It's he's listen, I didn't spend this much time bringing up my daughters to go get an education and all this extra stuff for y'all to get married 1, 2, 3. Okay? So Jaya was just girl, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna get married. It is what it is. And I think that the reason why, she got married so young and, didn't put her career, because in a way, at the time, Jaya was a big star in the Hindi film industry. She was a huge star. She was a bigger star than Amitabh at the time. So, and at that time, Amitabh was having a string of flops. And I talked about this in the Abhishek video. Amitabh, he had his struggles in the beginning when it came to his movies. But, Jaya still fell in love with him. Jaya still wanted to marry him. She loved him. So, Jaya... And Jaya at the time was a big star, so I think for her to kind of in a way, kind of lower herself a little bit to get to Amitabh's level, I think that's what she did. In a way, she kind of martyred herself a little bit, and I'm gonna talk about her martyring herself a lot more towards the end of this video. So she was just like, okay, I'm gonna just marry him because, I love him, and I know I see potential in him, and I know he's gonna be a big star. So Jaya decided to marry him. Now, I saw this interview on I think her name is Gadawal, where Amitabh and Jaya Bachchan did an interview together. It was like one with them together in 1998, and there was another one with with the whole family in like 2000 and something. And y'all, okay, so we kind of got a taste of how the marriage dynamic is between Amitabh and Jaya Bachchan, and how it has been since the beginning till years later. And it definitely seems like Jaya has, in a way, has lost herself quite a bit in the marriage. I think she's lost herself. I think that she's lost her identity within the marriage, because now we don't even, that's the thing too, I didn't even know what Jaya's last name was. I had to go do my research, because usually you know what the last name of like a person, like the original last name before they take the husband's name, that sort of thing. I didn't even know, because I think that she wanted to be just within her husband and make sure that she, my husband, my husband, my husband, my man, my man, my man, that like it was just like a Bachchan thing. So I was like, yo, what is this woman's last name? Like, what is her last, like, before she got married? So her last name is Jaya Baduri. So I think that, she definitely did lost herself within this marriage with Amitabh. I also think that Amitabh has, in a lot of ways has taken Jaya for granted. And I don't even think that that's, unfortunately, it's been a 50-year marriage, so nothing is ever gonna is ever gonna, we can go back to that and try for them to work on that. No, it's done deal. So, but yeah, he's definitely took advantage of Jaya. He's definitely took her, as far as like her quote, and that's the thing too. Amitabh made it in the interview. It's like the reason why he married Jaya is because she was so traditional, and she reminded him of his mother, and like, it basically is like, I know I can like somewhat like talk to her any kind of way, control her any kind of way, like, so, and I can do whatever I want, and I know that she will never leave me. That's the vibe I got out of that Simi Garowal interview, and I'm gonna link it on the description box below. I want y'all to watch that. But that's the vibe I got, and Jaya even admitted in the interview, she was like, listen, when it comes to Amitabh, the only things, like, because it goes in order for him, the people who matter most to him is his parents, the children that we've had, and then me. I come last. When it comes to his profession, comes first, and then me. I come last. Maybe other girls as well come first before me. Like, she said it as in a witty way, but you can tell that there's some, especially at that last comment where she was like, maybe other girls, and I'm gonna talk about it, come before me, and I come last. And when she was saying that, I was just like, girl, and then she kept saying, but I'm okay. It's fine. I like this thing. I stay with, basically saying that I stay within my position. I don't voice my opinions. I don't voice what I think and how I feel about that. And that was a little bit concerning. It was concerning. So then, there were times too where Amitabh will cut Jaya off and tell her, listen, he would tell her, excuse me, I'm talking. That's what he would say too. Like, usually Amitabh, you would think that Amitabh is like, or maybe how I thought of him, I thought that he was like somewhat respectful. But in that interview, he was kind of snippy towards Jaya, like very snippy. And I was just like, I don't know, Jaya, when you go home, you got to check him. But she never did. I already knew she never did. She never checked Amitabh. When he was like, oh, excuse me, I'm talking. It's like, sir, no. So, but yeah, like, this marriage, it was obviously a marriage of just like, where Jaya was just like, you know what? I'm in love with love. I'm in love with marriage, and I'm just gonna marry him just to marry him. And Amitabh married Jaya because she's traditional, and she reminds him of her mother, of his mother. Yeah, that's really what it was. And I think that Jaya definitely lost herself within this marriage, and she hasn't really been able to find herself and find her identity outside of being Amitabh Bachchan's wife. Okay, so that's just one thing. Another thing we need to discuss. So y'all already know. I spoke. We spoke about the. Well, I spoke about the that little comment that Jay is a beautiful woman. Look at her right here. She's a beautiful woman. Sorry, she's a very beautiful woman. But I spoke about how Jay was like, well, maybe he'll entertain other girls before me, and let's talk about it. It's been heavily reported for the longest time, for years and years, decades and decades and decades, that Amitabh and Rekha, have had an affair for years. And Jaya Bachchan was aware of it. She was definitely aware of it. Now, I have to say allegedly, because, both Amitabh and Rekha denied having an affair, and I don't believe that for one freaking second. You're not gonna play in my face. Y'all are not gonna play in my face. Y'all know damn well. Amitabh, Rekha, y'all know damn well y'all were fucking around. Y'all know y'all were fucking around. It's just like, let's stop. Y'all know what y'all did. And in a way, I will, just to be off topic real quick, I'm kind of disappointed in a lot of the comments that I see, because now especially on Instagram, when I see in my timeline when people are like, oh my god, like Amitabh should have ended up with Rekha because Rekha and him are soulmates, and he just married Jaya just for cultural. And it's just like, Amitabh cheated on his wife. He had an affair outside, and I don't know about the other girls, because I heard that he's had Zinat Aman and all these other people, but I know for sure Rekha and him had an affair, allegedly. But Amitabh cheated on his wife, and if he didn't want to be with her, if he didn't love her like that, if he didn't see her as someone who was exciting or whatever, he could have divorced her. He could have done that, or honestly, Jaya could have divorced him. And I think that we also need to place the blame on Jaya, because Jaya allowed, in some ways, this thing to fester up and people to question her marriage, just ask whether her marriage is pure or blah, 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 blah. Because, her husband is slinging his peen around in all directions. So, I think, and then Rekha has no shame. And obviously, most of the blame does go to Amitabh, but Rekha has no shame, because it's like, you were, in a way, like, I guess you could say she was cordial with Jaya Bachchan or whatever. And still to this day, Jaya still has to act cordial around Rekha in public so that, it doesn't cause too much of a big scene. But girl, you were messing around with my husband. You were messing around with my husband. You guys did, like, how many films together? A bunch of films together. And you were sleeping around with my husband, even though I detested it. I was annoyed. You know that this man had children, and yet you were sleeping with the married man. And that's why I honestly think that's why Rekha is the way that she is now. Yes, she's beautiful and she's looking good for her age, but that's why she has no husband, no children, no nothing. And I know that she claims that she doesn't want any children and blah 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 blah. Girl, had she married Amitabh, she would have popped out those children expeditiously. Okay, she would have popped out those kids. But here's another thing too. I think that Amitabh probably never saw Rekha as marriage worthy. And can we be honest? Like, let's keep it a stat. Amitabh probably never saw Rekha as marriage worthy. That's why he thought that he could screw around with her. And let me just go back to Jaya Bachchan, because she's the one that I'm gonna make my wife and have kids and blah 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 blah. While Rekha, you're the side piece. You go sit over there in the thing and wait for me to come back. That's really what it was. So in a way, Rekha and Jaya Bachchan look like Boo Boo the Fool. because Amitabh Bachchan kind of played both of y'all. So, you know, it's been alleged that Rekha and Amitabh have had affairs for years and years and years, to the point where Yash Chopra's messy ass, and Yash Chopra is messy for this. I'm sorry, I don't care what y'all say, y'all, you know, because this kind of furthered the the rumors. So Yash Chopra, who is the director, decided to make a movie called Silsila with Jaya, Rekha, and Amitabh, and basically the film was basically like the premise of the film was about, you know, Amitabh's character and Jaya's character are married, and then Amitabh ends up having an extramarital affair with Rekha's character. So that was basically the premise of the film, and this kind of ignited the whole extramarital affair thing that's been the rumors that have been going on in Bollywood. So they definitely, and I would say that they definitely capitalized off of that with this movie. It's not saying act as if it wasn't a capitalization, but I genuinely think that Jaya Bachchan didn't want to do the movie. I think so. I believe that. I don't think that she wanted to do the movie. I think that she did it because she didn't want Amitabh and Rekha to be alone together, or to do a solo film together. Because there are rumors that saying that Jaya was telling Amitabh not to do movies with Rekha anymore because, you know, the rumors are getting out of control. And I think that Jaya definitely knew that there was something going on. So, but yeah, when Rekha agreed to do the movie with Amitabh, that's when Jaya jumped in and was like, and I think there was reports saying that, oh, you know, Jaya fell in love with the script. It's like, girl, bye. She did that because she didn't want Amitabh around Rekha. It is what it is. So I definitely think this adds to the bitterness when it comes to Jaya Bachchan, because Amitabh, in a way, I guess you could say, has never, like, really, obviously he's never respected the marriage. That we know. He never respected the marriage. He, you know, he has no integrity, you know, no values, no morals. It's like, that's the thing about these, sometimes about men. It's like they want traditional this and traditional that and traditional wife and traditional household, but it's like, y'all don't want to upkeep the traditional factors of what marriage is supposed to be about. Y'all are having affairs outside of the marriage. It's like, girl, I'd rather y'all say that your marriage is not perfect and do whatever it is you gotta do. But if you talking about traditional, just I want a traditional wife and traditional, well, you also gotta be traditional too, boo. And it is tradition not for a man to be cheating on his wife. So I kind of look at, in a way, I kind of look at Amitabh differently, a little bit differently now than how I used to. But at the end of the day, Jaya Bachchan is the one that still stayed in the marriage, and Rekha is the dummy for being in a affair for freaking years and not getting no ring, no nothing, no child, no nothing. So y'all both whatever. And here's another thing I want to discuss, right? Because I know a lot of people, when it comes to Jaya Bachchan, in the defense of Jaya Bachchan, I know a lot of people have they feel like, you know, Jaya's too mean, and she sometimes the things that she says is too much. And I remember this particular story. That happened, I think I believe it was 2012 or something, with Happy New Year. I forgot what year Happy New Year came out, and I remember the news where Jaya Bachchan said a comment, and people were up in arms and that sort of thing. And I was just like, oh, she's, you know, she, at the time I didn't do my research. By the time, you know, I was like, oh my God, she's trashing a movie that her son is in. Oh my God, she's such a bad person. But then I did my research, and I'm just like, bro, this is an opinion. But Jaya Bachchan, and that's, okay, so there was a movie that came out, Happy New Year, with Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, Abhishek Bachchan, that sort of thing. And Jaya Bachchan watched the movie, and she thought that the movie was trash. That's it. That's all. She said that the movie was nonsensical. Hold on, let me read her quote. Oh, it was 2014. Okay, 2014. She says here, speaking at the Mumbai Literature Festival as a session titled Failure of Literature Informing Current Cinema, Jaya Bachchan said that she only watched Happy New Year because her son Abhishek was in it. I told him he's a great actor if he can act stupid in front of the camera like that. I can't be a part of what is being done in films these days, and hence I don't do films anymore. I couldn't do it, but he did it so freely. I was impressed. Of course, I went and told the producer and the main actor of the movie that I'd never seen a movie which was more nonsensical than this one. She added, and here's the thing: where does she lie? Where does she lie? If y'all watch I think Happy New Year is on Netflix. That shit is trash. I watched it myself. That's why. That's the thing about me. I'm not doing no Hindi cinema movie reviews about movies that are garbage. Okay, and the thing is, like I said, Shah Rukh Khan knows better. He's done better. He's done exponentially well. Why are you producing a film that is freaking that is one of those microwavable generic films? And at the time, Jaya Bachchan got so much backlash for her opinion. And if you honestly think about it, if you read it, what she said was not even that bad. She was just like, listen, I went to go support my son. I went to go do that. But the film was ass. And honestly, the fact that people can't take constructive criticism or can't take a quote unquote negative opinion, it shows how fragile the ego is. And listen, people are also saying, "Oh well, Shah Rukh," and I think the movie did do well. Of course, it did. Yeah, cause But people are saying, "Oh, Shah Rukh Khan gave Abhishek Bachchan an opportunity to be in this movie because he's had a string of flops himself. So the fact that Jaya will shit on this movie, shows how bitter and mean and horrendous she is." And I was just like, okay. I'd rather my son be in a great movie and have it flop than rather be in a stupid movie and have it be successful, and then on top of that, have it years later people talk about how stupid the movie was. And Happy New Year was a stupid movie. So I didn't understand the backlash that Jaya got when it came to this particular comment that she made. And I think that people are way too hard on her. People are way too hard on her when it came to that. And when it comes to everything else, like, don't get me wrong. Does Jaya sometimes hold beliefs that are very, very way too traditional for our tastes and way too, because I even saw, there's no shade, I even saw a video that's been going around on Coffee with Karan where she was talking about Aishwarya Rai, and she was saying that, Aishwarya Rai, I love her so much, she knows her place as a woman, like, she's such a big star herself, but, when it comes to the family, she always takes 2 steps back. She sits back. She's quiet. She doesn't say anything, and that's what I like. I don't, basically it's insinuating that she doesn't like a woman who is just like, who knows her worth or who's like prideful, I guess you could say. So that's what she was thinking about. I'm sure you're right. So people were just like, girl, Jaya, like, what century are you from? Like, be for real. But yeah, she does hold some beliefs that are just like, they're not up to par with where we are as a society. But I think that given the circumstance and everything that has happened to Jaya when it comes to her marriage with Amitabh, and of course, listen, let's be very clear. Nobody forced her to marry Amitabh. Nobody forced her. She voluntarily married Amitabh. She voluntarily stayed in the marriage knowing that this man allegedly had affairs with Rekha. She stayed in the marriage when Amitabh was, every here and there he would be criticizing her or like, being snippy or being disrespectful to her. She stayed. She stayed. So, am I, holding everybody else responsible for how Jaya is now? No, of course, some of it does fall on her. But I think that, obviously given the circumstance, because, with Amitabh, with Rekha, with just, like, especially for the fact that the world knows that people are questioning your marriage, and people are saying like, your husband has had an affair, or if it comes out to be true, everybody knows. It's embarrassing. So that can really, really cause bitterness. within the person. It can cause bitterness. It can cause resentment. You know? So I think that, with Jaya, she is in a way misunderstood. She is misunderstood. And I think that, when it comes to she well, I don't know, now she go to therapy or something. I don't know if she believes in it. But she definitely needs a therapist or something. She needs to talk her feelings out. And I know she's older now, way older age. She's like, I think she's 75 now. But back then, and I think unfortunately back then, mental health and that sort of thing wasn't really discussed. And so she didn't have that outlet. Or she probably kept it to herself and was just bottling up. So that's why she just has these outbursts. But I think that, with what Reka did to her, what Amitabh did to her, how she feels about the industry overall, everything just came to what it is. And I think that she genuinely feels like her husband never really fully loved her completely. And that's an unfortunate thing. That's a very, very, very hard pill to swallow. So it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I wanted to make this video. I wanted to, make this video about the defense of Jaya Bachchan, because I think that, a lot of times we tend to judge people or be, or say this or that or that or that, but it's just like, just looking at, okay, what are the environmental factors? What are the individual factors? What happened here? So on and so forth. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just all. That's all. I mean, I do wish her the best. I hope, hopefully, she becomes a little bit more calmer. As she gets older, I know she's 75 now, but it's like as she gets quite older. But please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get up to 500 subscribers. Tell me what you guys think about Jaya Bachchan. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys don't? Do you guys think that she needs defense? Do you guys feel like, Jaya Bachchan is just naturally a bitter person? How do you guys feel about her? And that's just my thoughts. That's just how I feel. I'll talk to you guys later. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.